Right, welcome back to the podcast, team. A big weekend of racing, or not as big, but it turns out that the Busselton Festival of Triathlon is the hottest ticket in town. So Kate, Guy, and obviously Tex is back as well. But ladies first, Kate, where did that race come from?
Yeah, definitely not what I expected. It had been a pretty big month, and it's also a big weekend for our athletes. I'd say probably the biggest weekend. And we decided to, let's just add to it and do our first ever expo. So, on our feet. We'll return from Singapore on our feet all day Friday, all day Saturday, and then decide to do 100 on Sunday. It was like perfect planning, I think. Perfect planning.
I don't know about that. That is not built for a decent taper, because it's just energy out the entire time. Talking, and, and being with Guy, like, constantly for the entire time. Like, even Guy being with Guy is probably...
I was going to say... I need a break from myself. You guys get to walk away. You get to stay in different rooms. I can't escape this. But the good news is there's actually 17 of me that live inside me. So, we can diversify every now and again. Tom lives in here. Tom's a bit crazy, though, so don't let him out too much.
Did we officially ask you to develop a podcast, Guy? Is this a new guy as part of the whole sort of portfolio of personalities that you walk around with?
I'm really a marketing dream, because there's so many of me that I can diversify into almost anything. What do you need? Because I've got the personality for it. So if it's not this one, I've got another one.
Well, we'll stick with this one because it tends to get a few laughs from the audience. But a good result, like Tex and I were, we were asking the question, Guy going for his pro license. Did you need a pro license to race open?
No, you just needed to have raced the 100 distance under 4 hours. So
okay,
I scraped
for the men.
For the
men, yes, and for the females.
Yeah, good question. I'm guessing it's probably 10 or 15 minutes on top of that. But also, if in WA, obviously, we have our state series. So if you've been racing in the open category in the state series, this was also our WA long course champs. It was the Australian long course champs. So the open category was a mix of open and professional athletes, as long as the prize purse was under the threshold.
Hold on a second. The Australian long course champs, Busselton Festival of Triathlon, you pick up 6th, Kate, and Guy picks up 5th. Is it 5th?
5th.
Oh, wow. Okay, the results are doing me a disservice here. It said you were in 5th last night when I looked at it, but when I actually refreshed today, for some reason it told me you were 6th. You got 5th then, and Guy got 4th in the Australian long distance championships.
I don't know if we don't count. Well, I don't count. I don't have a pro license, so I'm not sure if those with the professional. I don't know. I really don't know.
But you'll take it.
I'll take
prize
it.
Money?
No, not even for the winner.
Yeah, there was prize money.
There was prize money for the Busselton 100 event, but there wasn't prize money for the Australian long course champion. They didn't get more prize money.
Okay.
Yeah, but there was prize money for the race.
There was prize money for the race.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
But not in addition, like, for example, Guy didn't place in the Australian long course champs because he's from New Zealand.
Oh, representing. Obviously, he wouldn't want it. He wouldn't want it, even if he was given it. He wouldn't want it, Kate. I mean, honestly.
But who do I refund this to?
But in the men's race, there were some guys, some well-performed international athletes. Matt Burton's won Asia Pacific champs in Cairns, won Ironman WA before. Nick Thompson is certainly an athlete on the rise. So a couple of handy athletes. You weren't... Tex is going to hate when I say this. Your run was actually really quite comparable. Tex, thoughts?
No, it was good. Yeah.
Is that all you've got? Come on.
Honestly, it was. Yeah, I'm not going to say anything negative. Like, I actually thought it was a positive. I was a bit surprised to see going fourth, and he had to run, and it was on. I posted it on Strava, so I knew he was pretty confident about what he'd posted. And I was like, yeah, gave him a bit of kudos. I was like, good on him. Yeah.
Wow.
Nice.
Whoa.
Oh.
Guys, I feel like
Thank it.
this incredible happiness welling inside me that I don't know what to do with. This is like when Kate was walking down the aisle, but a little bit better.
I'm so lucky, so lucky.
Sorry, babe.
Well, what about in the female race? Fifth. That's pretty handy. A pretty decent result all around. All locals. I don't recognise a lot of the names.
The winner, Jasmine Brown, she came over. This is her second year racing pro. She is now living in Sunshine Coast. Okay. And she came over to race, and then she heads to Europe for Samarin and Challenge Championships and then Challenge Roth.
Nice.
And so, Sian, who finished second, raced Geelong this year. She is local.
Yep.
Unfortunately, I think the reason for the discrepancy in the results was Sarah was racing and she shortened the swim due to having a stress fracture in her ribs, but she was allowed to continue to bike and run, but she didn't swim the full 2K. So the results were a little bit out. So that's why I think there was that. I thought I had finished sixth until I crossed the line and found out I'd finished fifth.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So
the rest were locals, yes.
Locals, okay. Nick Thompson taking out the win in the men's, Matt Burden second. I'm not even going to try Mr. O'Reilly's first name. Is he a local?
He is.
He does live here now, yeah.
Okay.
Do you know him?
Yeah, he's an absolute legend of a character. Like, he came and did Taiwan with us one year, and he's funnier than Guy. Like, him and Caleb Noble, absolutely lit the place up. Like, it was awesome. I rode with him a bit in Taiwan that year. Because he's pretty powerful on the bike. He's a pretty solid lad. Doesn't fare so well in the sun with the Irish skin, but he's a character.
All right. And then Mr. Crawford in fourth. So very, very happy for you guys. I knew Kate's pedigree, but I didn't realise in getting Guy on the show and after taking the piss out of him getting his pro licence a week or two ago, he actually went off and justified it. So have we put that to bed, Tex? Do we give him any shit in the future?
Yes.
I think we move on. Put me on tonight. We'll see how it goes. Like, one cock up between now and Christmas. That's all it'll take.
Yeah. He's on a short lease. Okay.
Do we want to talk about what shoes I wore? Because, I think it's the shoes. Because we've had this conversation in the past. This time, flat course Tex, no hills, I wore the Rays. Good choice or bad choice?
Well, it was good for you, wasn't it? You didn't run 8-minute Ks. They weren't looking first. Yeah. So obviously good.
Fair.
Actually, talking about this then, and you guys obviously had the race, I'm going to take you back a few years. I saw this video a while back. I probably saw it when it first came out. How long have you guys been married now?
We got married in Guy. When did we get married?
She says this because she doesn't know. She forgets everything.
I know.
She's worse than I am.
Come on.
Yeah, come on then.
We got married on May 13th, 2017.
Good job.
2017, okay.
But we got together in 2010.
2010, okay. So I've been a big fan of Paul Newsome and Swim Smooth for a number of years. He's done some awesome stuff, created some great swim squads in Perth. You guys know him personally. And I remember following his blog for many years, back in the early days when it was a blog. And then there would be a few videos that would trickle out every now and again. And I distinctly remember the one where you guys featured. People who aren't going to be able to or be listening to this podcast rather than watching it, we're about to play a video that compares the physiques of Guy Crawford, who is 6'3", and Kate Bevilacqua, who in the video references herself as 5'0". And we're talking about wingspans of swimmers. Now, Tex, you'd be what, 6 foot? Are you 6 foot? You must be.
I wish. Nah, I'm like, I reckon 5'10" in a headwind with a
No
hair
way.
popping up.
5'10" with the afro.
Yeah, with a full fro. I was under control currently, but yeah.
At the moment.
I know I've come to grips with it. You saw me at my wedding. All my brothers are taller. I'm the short one.
Yeah, I'm going to give you more than 5'10", but your wingspan, it would be interesting to compare your wingspan against Guy's wingspan. So you guys did a video with Paul Newsome way back in the day looking at the relationship between your wingspan of your arms versus your height and how that relates to maybe the type of swimmer that you, or the type of swimming technique that's best going to suit you. Do you guys remember doing that video?
Yeah, we do. We often still talk about it too, don't we? Hello, Guy, are you there?
Yeah, sorry. I had a video playing inside my head at the time.
It did look like that at that point.
It was very loud in there, so it was hard to get the outside noise in. Yeah, sorry, what was the question again? You have talked about this video that you guys did with Swim Smooth way back in the day. Why does that come up in conversation?
Because when we go swimming with some of our athletes, or if we have new athletes come on board and we look at their swimming strokes and they talk about swimming, so many of them get caught up in looking at pure pool swimmers and I must be doing this and I must be gliding at the front and taking the least number of strokes to get to the end of the pool. And that's when we talk about, look at Guy, look at me, look at his arm length. We swim very differently, but this is what's more effective for me and this is what is more effective for Guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's reminisce, team. Well, let's go back to when Guy had no grey hair and Kate was just a little bit younger than she looks now. And I'm going to show you the video referencing what we refer to as the ape index with Paul Newsome.
Okay, so we're here today with two elite triathletes, Kate Bevilacqua and Guy Crawford, both dating. We noticed some interesting things when we've just been watching their swim strokes there about how they make their stroke efficient. Guy, as you can see, just eyeballing the two athletes here, Guy much taller than Kate, Guy being 6'3" and Kate 5 foot.
Yeah, nothing.
5 foot nothing, okay, so quite a big difference between the two. But what we're going to look at just now is something which we call an ape index, and about a year ago on the Swim Smooth blog we ran this, looking at the difference between, basically the ratio between the length of your arms and your height. Some people have very, very long arms relative to their height. Some people have very, very short arms relative to their height. And we recommended that because of this, it might impact on how that swimmer swims with respect to their stroke rate. So let's get the two guys over here. So Kate, if you wouldn't mind just coming up against the wall, or up against this bar here, stretching down, you can just slip your flip-flops off there, or thongs as we call them over here. Okay, stretching up. When I say flip-flops in Australia, no one knows what I'm talking about. What the heck is that? Anyway, so Kate's stretching up the bar as high as she can go. Now just coming and standing away and just standing up against the bar there. So Kate's height there, probably around about, if we just brought it across, around about 1.5 inches, maybe up to 2 inches, arms 2 inches shorter than her height. That would be a negative ape index value of -2. Guy, if we do the same thing with Guy here, now Guy swims with a very long, smooth freestyle stroke. We've just been trying to make it a bit longer and smoother, or a bit smoother rather. Okay, now just stand up, Guy. Now if we see the difference here, Guy standing up nice and tall, okay, his arm span is around about 4 inches longer than his height. Big contrast between the two. So not only is there a difference in her height, but Guy, relative to his own height, has much, much longer arms than Kate does. Now to be really interesting, if you just stand them side by side, Guy just stretching them out, and Kate just here, just against the fingertips, look at the difference that we have here. Nearly 1 metre difference. So for Kate to be sort of told that she needs to swim down the pool in less than 40 strokes, because that's something that Guy can do very, very easily and does all the time, is going to be actually detrimental to her swimming. Kate, in order to actually generate propulsion and speed, needs a higher stroke rate because of the shorter arms there. As simple as that. Hope you've enjoyed that little tidbit there. See you next time.
Okay, team. So both of you don't look a day older, but when we look at that video, and you worked quite closely with Paul after this on your swim for a number of years, Kate?
Yes, I did. A number of years. Yep, we would go to squad session. We would drive. It was, for us, it was a bit of a drive. It could be 40, 45 minutes there, and if you hit traffic, an hour home.
Wow. Okay. Is that because of how good Paul's squads were, or what the work that you were focusing on in terms of your swimming?
Both, a bit of both. Yeah,
okay.
Definitely. Like to get the benefits, it was great to be able to be there and for him to be seeing, how it was developing and to be giving the feedback along the way.
Okay. Guy, did you come from a swimming background?
Mostly. Well, kind of. I did swimming when I was young, and then I sort of went away from it. And I actually did cross country through my early high school. I feel like Tex is going to tear me apart here. But I did cross country and running, and then I went back to swimming when I was like 17.
Yep.
And then I swam through till I just never stopped swimming from then.
Okay.
So, yes.
Do you think you've adjusted your swim stroke? Because you would have a much lower stroke rate per se, literally a little bit to do with the ape index, but also maybe coming from the pool swimming background?
It's definitely changed a bit over time. So now I'm more comfortable in what I'm going to call the mosh pit, which is when you're starting with like 60 guys on a start line or however many, even 20, 30.
Yep.
I've adjusted a little bit for that open water chaos, but when I'm in the pool, it's still relatively smooth, I guess, would be the answer.
Do you guys know what your stroke rate would be at race pace, just roughly?
64 to 66 or something like this.
Okay. And Kate?
Yeah, I'm more closer to the high 80s, low 90s.
Okay. Now, Tex would, I suspect, be much closer to Guy's wingspan than Kate's. Tex, what are you chopping away at?
I can get up to 100 if I have to. But I'd easily punch out 90. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah. That's how I make up for inefficiencies in the water. Is a pretty high stroke count. There's no two ways around it. I can slow it down. I've had to slow it down and squat a bit, but we've done ramp tests in the past, like that stroke rate ramp test. And then it just gets to a point where it's like most people can't keep up with the beat, but I can keep going and I keep getting faster. And it's kind of like coming past the 50s, but you're also at 110 now. Like, what's the point? And you're like, fair enough.
Now, you guys, Kate and Guy, you must have done stroke ramp tests with Paul Newsome at some point in time, haven't you?
Yes,
Guy?
we would have done them before 50s with the beeper in, but Paul loves the beeper, so we use it for the ramp test. We use it for all the training pretty much. So you might do a warm up without it, but that's one of the reasons why the swim got good, I think, because everything was based off your CSS, so your critical swim speed with Paul. So we use the beeper a lot, and yes, we used it for ramp tests. I can't quite recall exactly because it's been like a decade exactly what my stroke rate was, but I just know generally it's around that when we're going decently hard, and I can get below 60 if I'm just mincing about. Yeah,
absolutely. Kate, so this is a well-documented blog, and I think I'll try to put the blog in the show notes as well. You used to be like a lot of swimmers, especially female swimmers, and I can say that without it being a generalisation because I've coached swimming before, who get in the water from a non-swimming background and try to solve the issue with their kick.
Yeah, and I'd say I don't even come from a non-swimming background. I mean, everyone in Australia swims, right? We grow up in school swimming, and I was doing, inter-school swim carnivals. But everything came from the waist down. It was all about I'm getting the power from just kicking as hard as I can for 50 metres and then be destroyed at the end.
Yeah.
So and then actually get into triathlon and be destroyed as soon as you get out of the water. So it was not very good.
So Paul made a greater focus on your catch and stroke rate and tried to de-emphasize the kick, which I think we would all agree, isn't that beneficial when you're swimming 2Ks or even 3.8Ks. It's there for rhythm, but if you're relying on it for propulsion, then you're wasting your time.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And it's funny once you've learnt that, how much you notice it in other athletes and be like, oh wow, everything is coming from your kick. No, you're no wonder you're so exhausted when you get out and start riding your bike.
Yeah.
So it was. I mean, not only did he have the blog, Paul also had the book. I think it's in the book as well. His Swim Smooth. Yeah. It's one of the chapters in the book.
Kicktastic.
And where he.
Kicktastic is what he would define that swim type as, wouldn't it? And was that you?
That was me, and the goal was going from a kicktastic to a swinger.
To a swinger.
Yes.
Okay. which is when you met Guy.
Yeah. Perfect.
She needed to branch out. She's like, this can't be my life.
So the swinger is recovery that's over the water with a much straighter arm, a much more open armpit, and the stroke rate has tended to be a little bit higher. So you were starting to de-emphasize the kick but increase the stroke rate.
Yes.
How much did you increase the stroke rate over that time? What were you at and where did you get to?
That's a really good question. I think
just roughly, because it's about it.
I would say I would have been closer to where Guy was.
Yeah.
But just obviously not so much slower because I was just so inefficient because I did not have one of my pools was not getting me as far as Guy was getting just because I had my arms are so short. So it was about that, and then I had to actually train my ability to maintain that over a longer period of time. So that was the next thing. You can hold the cadence, but oh my gosh, I'm tired after 400 meters. I can't even do it for longer and longer and longer. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did that involve shutting the kick off completely, like throwing bands on at any stage? Because if I throw bands on Tex, we ain't got a professional triathlete anymore. We're going to his funeral. So what I'm trying to sort of illustrate here is we got like three completely different swimmers. The way that you had to change your swim mechanics and stroke. Guy sort of maybe has only just sort of tweaked his a little bit, and Tex has come in with a stroke rate that's above everyone else's and really no use of kick at all in Tex's stroke rate. So when you're coaching, it is not one size fits all, is it?
No, not at all. And band was not big with Paul. There wasn't a lot of band work. That wasn't the way that it was done. It was done with a beeper. So with the stroke rate and then it was also done with trying to time a little bit of the stroke weight with a lesser kick, like a 2-bit kick or something like that, rather than a kicktastic that just kicks as hard as you can all the time. Yeah. So finding a bit more of a rhythm that way. But then I found for me over time, I've actually just developed to kicking for 50 meters maybe, and then I'm turning it off like that's it. Yeah, and even Guy says to me, remember, turn your kick off. You've got to turn your kick off because sometimes I can forget about that and then just be like, oh, I'm so tired now. I'm exhausted again.
Tex, we've talked about this a number of times on the podcast in recent appearances, but you've solved the issue and not down-regulated stroke rate in any way. Because for you to retrain your mechanics, and this is not a negative assessment of your mechanics, because the high stroke rate, as you said before, covers up a few deficiencies, and you're quite comfortable, cruising along at sort of 90 strokes per minute.
Yeah, fatigue won't set in there. If we have to do a kick set, I can't do 50 meters with the group at squad. I've got literally zero kick, not a morsel left in me. Maybe like a stray dodgy ankle that will do a little beat, but more of it was actually just trying to get like spine alignment. There's so many other things that we could do and correct. Like the cadence was so high, but it was getting a cadence that was so high that the catch was going in the right direction. It wasn't just like a straight arm pull or a short exit to try and make that 90. It was actually understanding what that 90 needed to do as it went underwater. And there's still a lot that can be done. Like, it's pretty amazing when you see the kids I swim with that are half the stroke rate going faster, and you go, absolute bastards. There's stuff that can be done, but it's like, we're getting there for sure. Like, you'll never stop learning, I think, when it's swimming.
Yeah. Okay.
Do you just have the 100 stroke rate? Are you just like grabbing the water out the front like a doggy paddle? Doggy paddle drills. It's just like in here, and you're like, you know what? I'm not even going to go past my armpit, and then it comes back out again.
Do you know what? His stroke length is still not too bad. Jack and I have worked together for a long period of time, and we've played around with a whole host of different things. And instead of trying to slow it down, which actually changes his mechanics completely, his mechanics is built around this sort of innate stroke rate, that his firing patterns, that doesn't feel fast to Tex. Like I say, we've done stroke ramp tests where his speed stopped, and he can easily do another 10 to 20 strokes per minute. So he just has this timing that's built in that is actually fairly economical for him. So my goal was, okay, if I can't slow him down at the front, let's try to elongate what he does at the back. Let's make sure his hand gets down to his hip at least. No problemo at all. He can get his hand back to the hip. He just keeps revving away at 90 plus strokes. So, it just highlights that you really have to work with the individual and not try to fit everyone into that same sort of cookie cutter. Like you mentioned before, Guy, like everyone comes out of the pool swimming and they're trying to be long and fluid and add that pause and that catch-up type stroke to them. Okay, I won't say this to Tex because I know he swims 6 times a week, and that solved a lot of issues as well. Do you guys reckon that there's a volume point where swimming's concerned, where you think if age groupers really want to make some inroads with their swimming, they've got to be doing more than, say, 3K swims or 3x3 a week? What's your thoughts on that, Kate? What's your thoughts on a volume?
Yeah, I think it does make a difference. It's like anything. We talk about cycling, we talk about running. Like, if you want to get better, you want to add in, you have those specific sets. You have the intensity workouts, you have the strength workouts, you have the tempo workouts. And then in between those, you have the easy runs or the easy rides. Well, the same applies to swimming. Yeah. And that's the sessions that age group athletes don't necessarily do because they don't have time. Because swimming is so time dependent on getting to the pool, getting your lane space, having a shower, going, just the extra time that's involved. But if they do have the time, it will make a difference.
Yeah. What's your magic number then? If you said someone really needs to get in the water, is it a frequency thing, or would you like to see them swimming 12Ks, 9Ks, 15Ks? What do you reckon it is?
I think I would go frequency first.
Okay.
Before I went doing two sessions of 6Ks, I'd be like, no, we'd be better off getting you in the water doing 3 or 4 sessions of 3Ks if we could do that instead of the 2 longer sessions. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Guy, what do you reckon?
Yep, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and a Sunday swim. If you do that, you're probably going to go all right. But getting people to do that is like pulling teeth. So if they're going to skip something, well, it'll be probably a strength workout or a swim set.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't like swimming. So it's getting them to enjoy swimming. That's why squads like Swim Smooth and maybe even Jack's squad, even though Jack's getting like destroyed by kids at 15 years old, it's just so much better being in that environment because it's actually quite fun, even if you are getting thrashed.
Yeah.
The other thing that I found too is, especially with adults, is allowing them to wear a pool buoy, allowing them to wear floaty pants, because if they struggle with body position, they don't even want to get in the water. But if they can have that, and be more comfortable and then focus on everything else, it becomes more enjoyable and they want to do it. And the reality is they're going to be wearing a wetsuit most of the time, or they can wear a speed suit. So they will have some flotation, device.
Whatever gets them to the pool more often. It's all, and that's a Sado thing as well. He's always said, put everything on them as long as they're actually swimming, which means that you have how big is your pool bag at the end of the day, Tex? How many different sets of pool paddles do you have?
So that was quite fun. Like at Christmas, they do like the chocolate fish relays. It's a real like kids swimming thing. But one of the relays was you had to wear everything that was in your swim bag. Disaster for me. Band, 3 pairs of paddles, snorkel, fins, kickboard. I was like, just empty. I was like, oh, spare pair of goggles. I was like, this is like disastrous how much is in there. But I think it's try like, yeah, you got to have 3 pairs of paddles.
Maybe there is a point. Yeah, everyone's got 3 pairs of paddles. Everyone's got a whole multitude of different paddles and most of them have been sold to you as this is going to cure everything. This paddle is going to cure everything. Okay, all right. Well, interesting to get your guys' thoughts on swimming. Certainly watch the Swim Smooth video if you're only listening to this podcast. We'll put links in our show notes to the APE index, and then also we'll put some links to a stroke ramp test, which I think is quite valuable for some people, because I do believe, I'll just finish on this, cadence is a simple way, if you are, and say like Kate, relying a bit too much on your kick, which a lot of people do, to become a better open water swimmer. A slightly higher cadence for most people is the easiest technical shift that you can make before you worry about the catch and pull. As we've talked about with Tex, if the catch and pull is not as perfect as it could be, just 1 or 2 more extra strokes that you become conditioned to tolerate means another opportunity of at least moving you forward in the water and dealing with the demands of open water swimming a bit more. So we'll leave it at that, and we'll put links, as I say, in our show notes. Well, outside of Busselton, there was another professional race, obviously not as important as the Australian Long Distance Championships. I would say maybe the likes of Natalie van Coevorden and maybe Jake Birtwhistle and the like were maybe a bit too scared to go to Busso based on start lists.
I'd say so. They probably saw my name on there and they're like, oh, Tex must have texted Jake and be like, don't even go, mate. He's running so fast. Like, it's not even worth it.
It's a runner's race at Busso. Jake Birtwhistle, he's like, I can't hang with that kind of stuff. Tex, did you manage to see the results and follow what was happening at that race?
Yeah, Georgia reminded me when I got back from training yesterday that it was on, and we kind of had like I'd say as a Kiwi, like a vested interest. There was quite a few Kiwis had like pros that jumped across the ditch to go and watch, to go race, sorry. Yeah. So yeah, we tracked along for the day and it ended up being pretty exciting, I suppose. I mean, it was pretty much a foregone conclusion a few K into the run, but then there was sort of a few shuffles of people fading a lot more than I thought they would on the run. Yeah, I thought it was good enough racing without having a live coverage. It was a fun little track on following the dots in the morning for sure.
Yeah, pretty quick racing as well. And Cam Worth, I didn't even know he was in the country. Was that a bit of a surprise to see him on the start list?
He said he just jumped in at the last minute because, it's great to I'm here and it was great to have an opportunity to race at home. Yeah. That's it, pretty much. Add it to the list of racing every other weekend around the world.
Does that mean he could be looking at Cairns in terms of pro Ironman race if he's going to be over in Australia at the moment? Not that it's that far away, but he's not with Kona qualification yet, is he, Tex?
No, he's not. He hasn't got one. I wondered if he was even eyeing out Nice as a favourable bike course for it, but I think he must be realistic where his run's at for like a course like Nice to be competitive and make the trip through there. But yeah, maybe he does stick around for Cairns, or I know his sort of status as an athlete, he does bounce around countries fast enough. You might find him in Europe on a start list before you know it,
Or do back-to-back days. You'll find a Saturday and then a Sunday.
Yeah. Have you before we get on to the men's results and then obviously the female race, but it does seem to be the biggest talking point in social media world at the moment is the voluminous weeks that some of these pros are knocking out. Like I see Sam Long's talking 45 hours and someone else is going and trying to better that. And then I think they were putting up Jonas Schomburg's weekly training workouts and stuff like this. And it's a single week that they've done in the entire year, and everything's, and then you add Cam Worth to the list. Well, Cam Worth basically doesn't, he is always training. If you follow anything that he does, there's no point in his life where he's not riding for 13 hours or doing, well, I can tell you now, Cam, it ain't working. So you might need to back it off a fraction. But yeah, look, whether he's here for Ken's or not, I do think that Ken's start list is going to start to get deeper and deeper as we go. It's quite exciting, and you guys will have will you guys have an expo tent there?
I'm starting. That's what that was. That finger up was like, yeah, I'm coming. No, I'm not. I am not committed to that.
Can you tell me, can you actually inform your wife what the plan is so I can be prepared for what's going to happen?
Yeah.
I can't even touch my quads now. Like, they're so bad. So I can't even imagine running 42K. So yeah, probably will do it, because that's the kind of sicko I am.
So that's a yes. Okay, well, on the men's side of things, Jake Birtwhistle, Trent Thorpe, Tex, that's a pretty good result for Trent Thorpe, isn't it? Because Jared Osborne, he's sort of that guy that's starting to make quite a name for himself at the 70.3 distance, especially as a run. He knocked out a pretty decent marathon recently. I think it was it in the mid 320s? Do you know that?
220s probably, 320s would be.
In the mid 220s.
I actually don't know. I didn't see that. I know he's a very handy runner. Like, we've crossed paths, and you see that sort of name, Jared's name, float around Australasia enough to know how quality is at running. But I think Trent's probably always had that there. He's just been so injury prone. Like, he's been up and down with Achilles issues and stress fractures and the like. So it was probably pretty cool to see him get one on the board like he did. Did he win Hell of the West one year, or just capitulated at the end? There was a few times where he's been so close and then fallen back. And like, he's one of the best swimmers going. He's actually pretty strong on the bike. He can hold his own. It was always just a matter of he was healthy enough to put together a run, because his ITU prowess, he could do it. Yeah. No, I was pretty impressed that he managed to hang in for a podium.
And Jake was backing up after Singapore as well, so
exactly.
That was, and he had the fastest run split there, didn't he? He outran Hayden, I think.
Yeah,
back to back.
Yeah, back to back.
Natalie Van Coevorden is now starting to show some quite good consistency at that middle distance. I mean, back in her ITU days, she used to bang out the odd half Ironman way back in the day. I think maybe Joel Filiol was coaching her at the time, and she'd show up and do one or two and was quite good at it. But she won that one quite handily, don't you think, Kate? I thought, get to the front on the bike, or in the front the entire day, and then outrunning Ali Salthouse. I'm going to say, are they friends? I don't know if they're great friends.
We had the same discussion in the car on the way here. On the way home, but she did all the damage on the bike. On the run. Natalie did. She was, the strongest by far out there on the run. And there was good battles going on behind her. Fourth place, Emily Watts, first professional race, coming from a professional cycling background.
Wow.
She was 5 minutes off the pace out of the water and only found herself seconds off the podium.
Wow. Okay. That's a name
bike too.
She had the fastest bike by a minute. Yep. And then the second fastest run, I think.
Georgia goes, with a name like Watts, he's going to have the best bike. And then she did. And I was like, fair enough, live up to the name.
Well, look, we did manage to capture some video line interviews with the winner, Jake Birtwhistle and Natalie Van Coevorden. So we'll go and listen to those now.
Winner here at IRONMAN 70.3 Western Sydney. How was your day out there?
It was good. Yeah, it was really good. I was really happy with the race. Was able to kind of put myself right where I wanted to be throughout the swim, bike and run. Kind of be towards the front for most of the bike and kind of stay out of trouble and keep the pace on. There were some guys out there that were really working pretty hard and put a bit of pressure on me for sure. I was glad to kind of finish the bike and get onto the run and yeah, from then it was kind of just survival all the way to get home. Yeah, having done just a middle distance race just a week ago, like I definitely felt that in my legs today. So yeah, a bit of a relief to kind of get all the way around and all the way to the finish line in first place.
Pre-race, you said it was going to be on from the start. Was it on from the start?
Yeah, it pretty well was. I found the swim, there was a few moments where it kind of were able to relax a little bit, which was nice. But yeah, from then it was pretty much go until the finish. The bike was really solid again today. And I think, yeah, fast times kind of reflect that. So yeah, good bike. And then, yeah, I was, comfortable on the run, but it just, felt like I couldn't go any quicker. So I'm glad I was able to kind of get some space on second place.
Big last week from the heat in Singapore, back home to Tassie for a few days, and then up here. How's the body feeling? Yeah,
I'm feeling ready for a rest at the moment for sure. Yeah, thankfully a little bit of time to kind of bounce back before the next race. But yeah, heading home back to Tassie now and get a bit of training and then, keep working for the rest of the season.
Awesome. And what was the support like out on that run course?
Yeah, it was great. It was really cool to have the 3-lap run. It's not so common that we kind of get to do that. And yeah, it made the back end of the regatta area here quite a lonely feeling place for the last few kilometres. But yeah, you kind of knew that finish line was in sight then, so it was kind of getting you home.
Awesome. Congratulations.
Thanks very much. Cheers.
How are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm really happy to be honest. I had a disappointing race at the end of March, so I really want to come out here and just showcase what I know I can do. And yeah, I led from start to finish today, and yeah, I'm happy to put it in front of a home crowd. And the atmosphere was amazing out there today too. So yeah, it really pushed me towards the finish line.
10 years ago, you made your pro debut here on the podium. To come back 10 years later and win, what does that mean to you?
Yeah, it's really special. I think so much has happened now between 2016 and now with Commonwealth Games and the Olympics. But yeah, to do it here and to win on home soil is always really special. And like I said, to win in front of a home crowd is also amazing.
Yeah, you don't get the chance to race at home very often. What's that like?
Yeah, I think for many years I've probably watched this from the sidelines, and I've always wanted the pro race to come back here to Western Sydney. And I think it just shows that so many age groupers today were cheering us on and wanted to meet us. So it's great to have a professional race back here in Western Sydney.
Looking at the race, you were saying you wanted to go out hard from the swim and lead from the front. You did that. Was it kind of the perfect race for you?
Yeah, to be honest, I mean, I just kind of hung tough on the bike. It was a bit messy on the second lap, but yeah, once I started getting running and into my groove, I just found my rhythm and just kept my pace. And yeah, by the end, I was like, just keep going and don't do anything special, and that's what I did today.
Are you off to Europe soon? So a big year coming up?
Yeah, I've got 3 races in Europe coming up, and then hopefully I can produce more performances like I did today, and yeah, just showcase to the world how good we are from Australia.
Awesome, congratulations.
Thank you.
Good news is that Western Sydney, with its changed dates, it looked like they got great weather. It was a sellout. It was huge, really well received, and it's good to see a couple of the high-profile male and female pros turn up to race. So it's nice to see with that rejigged Australasian calendar and the new date for Western Sydney. I don't know what you guys think about it, but the Australasian calendar is really nicely spread now from an Ironman racing perspective. What do you reckon, Guy?
Well, you're coming to me for that. Yeah. Actually, you know what? I don't even know, man.
That's enough, babe.
Yeah.
This is better sent to someone else. I'm like, yeah, seems pretty good, Bevan. I like it.
Well, if you don't even know if you're racing Cairns or not, then I'm going to ask Kate because she's more familiar with that. Because it is the new date for this race.
Yeah, well, they've actually swapped it with Port Mac. So Port Mac used to be on this weekend, and now Port Mac, Ironman and / 70.3 are in October. Because that race used to also not get great weather the last few years, and they've had shortened swims or flooded transition areas. So they've moved that to October and just made the swap with Sydney. And it is good to see it obviously get as many people it has, because not many of the events had been selling out, except for some reason WA sold out months ago. Ironman and 70.3 done.
Yeah.
The numbers were really good, and I think they would be pleased with that change. And we'll see what happens in October. Early qualification for age groupers probably would be a good option.
Yeah, 100%. And look, it looked a flat and fast course because they went 3:32. It's a pretty fast course. And talking about fast, especially on the bike, how much do you guys as coaches ever consider or even find the opportunity to work with athletes in terms of their aerodynamics outside of bike fit? So, Guy, you like your tech. what do you do, and do you have any opportunities ever to talk to age group athletes about optimizing their aerodynamics?
I would say I've got a few guys that are kind of techie, then kind of geeky, and I would say for the general people I coach, not too much. We do the most of the important thing. We get a bike fit, and we make sure they're running good tires, and we make sure that they're able to push power and they're in a decent position. And then I've got some guys that buy the sensor that they can measure drag as they're riding. So we've got a couple of guys that do that, and then they tinker around with bits and bobs. And so we'll test them with bottles at the front, and we'll take out the bottles at the front, and then they'll say, but there's so many variations to it. Like if it's a bit windy one day and then they go and test another day, it's a bit of a crapshoot. However, so in general, we just say for, let's say my techie guys, we're like, okay, well, we'll do what we know has been tested in wind tunnels. So we'll take off the front derailleur for guys that worry about that stuff. And then we're taking a guess with bottles at the back. We'll be like, oh, so most people at the bottle of the back is now straight instead of upright. I don't have any data on this. I'm just like, well, okay, everyone's going straight, so we're going straight. And then the double bottle at the front, fill the gap. If you've got long humeruses and they're really far away from their pads, then we might put double bottle in there. But I don't have any data on it. So we're just sort of taking a guess off what other smart people in wind tunnel testing have done.
The old iometer. That looks good. Now, Kate, you from your days with Bella Bayliss and so forth, and I talked to Julie Duron about this in our interview the other week. You know, it was never a big focus of a coach like Brett Sutton. He worried more about how they delivered power to the bike, and probably, you know, you look at a cyclist like Alana Safet, who's under Brett Sutton at the moment, and you'd be like, wow, I don't know if they consider bike fit or aerodynamics at all. So what's your take on it? Did you change over the years, or would you say, and what do you do as a coach?
For me personally, depending on the coach, my very first coach, Andrew Budge, when I first started as an age group and then went professional, he was on top of all of that at that time. So he would be, I mean, he does bike fits, and you know, that was part of his job as well. So he was always looking after or saying, you need this, you need that. But once I moved on from there wasn't too much information from coaches that were coming through. And then I met Guy, and he did it all for me. So I don't worry about it. And as coaches, you know, our company together, we have different strengths, and he will be the one that stays on top of all the bike tech, or this is what's happening, or this is what's going on. But he'll tell me about it. But if we have an athlete that wants specific help, even if it's my athlete or another coach's athlete, we'll be, hey, Guy, can you have a chat, or can you have a look at this? And he'll be the one for any of our athletes that will give them advice or help send them in the right place.
Interesting. Do you know that Tex has actually worked for Jaguar in terms of aerodynamics?
No, that's good. Why do you lie on this podcast? That's not cool, Bevan.
Now that he knows that you're the head of aerodynamics for GK Endurance, you wait for him to pick apart your thoughts on aerodynamics. But the reason we're talking about aerodynamics is that there's a new entry into the market, Aero app, AiRO, because they have recognised that with the inclusion and advent of AI, it's brought forward the ability for these platforms to actually perform some form of aerodynamic analysis for the wider age group and amateur markets. I've conducted an interview with Ingmar Jungnickel from Aero app, and I got that information through to Tex before we decided to have a discussion about it on the podcast, only because years and years ago, we played around with the platform, and Jack was, well, I say we, I organised it, Jack did all the work, a platform called Stack that was attempting to do something very similar to what is now becoming commercially available through Aero app. So what did you think, Tex, when I sent through this, firstly, the interview, but also when you started to have a look at the platform?
you sent me this interview. Actually, you said, I'm going to talk to this Aero app. And I was like, oh, cool. Well, we did this with Stack like years ago. Here's everything I'd ask, because these are all the ball aches I had when I was doing it. And it was so exciting what Stack could do, but it was cumbersome in some areas.
Yeah.
And so I was like, this is what you should ask. And then you'd be like, too late. I'm talking to him in 30 minutes. I listened to the interview and I was like, wow, Ingmar, he's cracked it. Like, and it was cool that he's come to the market when it's like there's still so much more he wants to do. When you listen to the interview, it wasn't like, you see a lot of products and tech where people talk about rumors, but it's like it's coming in 10 years' time. He's launched it, and as you see, when you listen to it or watch this video with it, he's actually using AI to build the platform. So it's kind of a user-generated system. And when we talk about the whole system as a whole, like I was like, wow, this is such an out-of-the-box way of doing it, but it's almost a no-brainer. The biggest problem that we still have, I think, is like 3D scanning is still a bit average. Like, I don't know if you guys have ever played around with a 3D scanner or seen it, but it's like you're going around and you're trying to scan someone and generate this full model of them, and it can take a minute or two, or depending how accurate you want to be. But what happens is it builds a model on your computer, and it's all these tiny little triangles. And when you need to do aerodynamics and do the computation, it needs to, every single triangle needs to touch another little triangle, so there's not a single hole in the model. And as you know, for aerodynamics, that will completely destroy the entire validity of the system. And it's not so much the processing time of doing the simulation, it's all this cleanup work, which to Joe Bloggs, who's paying for the fit, A, he doesn't care about, doesn't see it, it's not tangible, and B, it just takes forever. That by the time you've got home, you've had a shower, your fit was over, 2 days later, you're going to get the result. And then there's also the computation time as well. Of often it's like a overnight simulation. And then he talks about it and like the actual computing power that he has on tap to do these simulations. It's like, I'm struggling to upload this bloody recording, and here he is cracking out full-on CFD calculations in like 7 minutes. It's like, it's quite staggering what we can do with computers now and how far it's jumped forward. Like the whole inclusion of the gaming world, which totally makes sense. You see some of the games that are getting released this year on other consoles, and like I think GTA 6, like it's got $2 billion worth of investment going into it. Like that's how much money's in that market, and to be able to use that technology to just build a model and change the geometry of it just with sliders totally makes sense. That we can take a photo of Guy, put him on the bike, start moving him around into various different positions. It's pretty exciting where that's going to go. And I think as well, like I was thinking about it even more. I was like, I wouldn't be surprised, because at the moment, as far as I understood it, the equipment's not in there. It's just you on the model.
Just you. I think so. So your bike's not included at this point, but like when you did send me through those questions to ask him, I included as many as I could in the interview, and then afterwards I said to him about, will it get to the point where it can actually not only obviously include the bike in the image, but also look at trip strips, materials, everything else, the aftermarket parts that we're adding. And he said certainly it's not going to take them long to get there, the more and more scans that they're doing at the moment.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised to see, they're German. He's German-based, right? Like you wouldn't be surprised, like a Canyon, like a direct-to-consumer product.
No, he's Salt Lake City.
I thought it was German Institute research initially is where it had come from, but maybe it's Specialized then who he worked with, where you can move the sliders and move the bike. And that's how you start build. Like actually, when you're going to buy a bike, you could put yourself on the bike and know that it fits and know how fast you are just with a series of sliders. Because once you've done 10,000 simulations, 100,000 simulations, you're just going to have like a more and more robust data set that you're going to have enough to work with. Yes, Guy, you can stop me before I get too nerdy.
I have a layman's question here because my brain is hurting. So Guy wants the best position for Guy. I'm like, I go to Aero. I'm like, guys, where do I go so I get the best position? And then what happens? I just take a photo of myself and then be like, here's a photo of me looking awesome. Can you tell me how much drag I've got. I'm confused.
Okay, well, let's hear from Ingmar now, and he'll tell us a little bit about how the app works in terms of creating your digital twin.
The big breakthrough was finding this what's called a parametric human model. And this idea of using as our core technology what we call our digital aero twin technology. And so at our core is this model of a person that has hundreds of things we can adjust about that person. So everything from like limb length to like biceps diameter to muscle definition, body fat, all these kinds of things to tune it into all kinds of people. And then combining this with an AI tool that can do this just from a couple photos. And that means we can now create a 3D model of an athlete fully automated in 3.5 minutes. And that model matches the person. And it is always the exact same model. It doesn't have any holes. It doesn't have any wrinkles. It doesn't have any of the scanning artifacts and issues that you tend to get when you use 3D scanning. And then combining this with some of the learnings that I have from a past project and my business partner coming from the gaming industry, the other big breakthrough from us was utilizing what is called the rigging and motion animation technologies that you have from movies or games, where you see these avatars dancing or jumping or making all these moves. This is all from the gaming industry to understand, okay, how does a body behave? How can we make a body move? Okay. And so instead of us rescanning every time where you get all the position changes, we actually create this digital twin only once. And then we're able to adjust this posture through these pose sliders. And that means we can adjust, for example, a small cockpit change in seconds and then launch another simulation. And combining this with very fast CFD means we can create a digital twin in 3.5 minutes, 3 minutes to recreate the on-bike pose, and then we can run 10 simulations, each taking around 7 minutes, but we can run them all in parallel. So within half an hour in a fit studio with the athlete present, we can do the same amount of aero testing and the same kind of quality as aero testing as a 2-3 hour wind tunnel session.
So basically what's going to happen is at the moment, the app is only associated with the bike fitters. So you have to end up going into a bike fitter. So first and foremost, they get you fitted on the bike. But then obviously they start to take the photographs after that so they can build what they call your digital twin. And this is basically, as you can see here as I'm sharing my screen, the digital twin looking at how the wind and air interacts with it from basically any angle you like. And so this is where once the digital twin is actually created, the app then can simulate a whole host of different positions, a whole host of different positional changes, lifting the body, changing the arms, all the other directions on it. And within an hour, for example, and I think I'm right, Tex, if you say you could have actually trialed at least 7 positions without actually making a change to the bike fit. So once you're obviously optimized on your bike and you've had your digital twin created, the bike fitter can then simulate some changes based on what they think your existing CDA is and how they might change your CDA from there. Without you having to make any changes to the bike fit to actually take another photo and try it again. So like when Jack and I have been to aero testing in the velodrome, any perceived optimization requires a whole complete change to the bike for the athlete to jump back on, ride again, get the numbers back in again, and then you start that process again. So it can be laborious. I mean, Jack and I have done that at the velodrome here in New Zealand, and the bike fitter that we work with, Justin Ralph, who does the Aerodynamics testing, he actually is now the only Aero app qualified and validated tester here in New Zealand. So he's using this app in advance of maybe taking an athlete to the track or just using it in isolation himself, because within a bike fit, plus the use of an app, he can provide some really sound aerodynamic quantification of their position within an hour. So there's some real merit in this for bike fitters who actually want to add this extra additional component to what they're actually doing. Because Ingmar said this, he said, you've got to get your optimal fit first. And once you've got that, well, let's try helmet changes, positional changes in terms of front end, cockpits, arm positions and the like. So we had that with Stack years ago, but we found it to be too slow, too cumbersome, too difficult to capture the image. But the thinking behind what they were trying to achieve was sound. They just didn't have the right platform to be able to deliver it. And I would suggest we're pretty close, if not there, now with the Aero app. So that's, if you had athletes out there, you could combine this with a bike fit. I think there's 4 Aero app fitters at the moment in Australia, but unfortunately none in Western Australia, because I checked the geographical map, because on their website you can go and see where the registered fitters are. Does that sound right, Text? Would that be a good description of it?
I was just going to add to it, because I think like a lot of people maybe play the devil's advocate, and I think there's a lot to come with this app. Like not having the bike there, obviously there's some downstream and upstream effects, and then not being able to do the materials. Like this, we've done velodrome testing where I can take 10 watts off by changing the various tri-suits, 10 for calf sleeves if we get the right strip diameter. But what we're looking for is, this is why it's paired with a bike fitter, is actually they're getting you into the optimum position for you biomechanically to produce good power, and then they're moving you within the realm of what they feel is safe for you biomechanically. And that's why the bike fitter is like, yes, that can be achieved. We can test that. And what we're not looking for is you don't have bragging rights about a CDA number, because that's a bit of a joke anyway. All we're looking for is this delta, like the shift. And we're looking to see if something's better or worse. And that's that's aerodynamics in a nutshell. Is just because you tested at one wind tunnel and you go to another wind tunnel, you're going to get a different result, more than likely. You go to a different velodrome, it's hot, it's whatever. The velodrome, and it's like in vehicle stuff, it was often within 5% with what you have for CFD, your wind tunnel testing and your real world testing. If they were all within 5%, you were pretty happy. Obviously, we're trying to look a bit narrower than that if we can. And that's why it's just, we're looking for this shift. And I think that's why this is such a cool starting point, is we're looking at biomechanics first and where we can move the athlete to see what that influences. Because for 99% of the athletes out there, they're just going to buy the tri-suit that looks the best. So let's just get them in a good position, and like that's the crux of it. Like,
but the other thing that Ingmar that was, I didn't think he would be open to trying to answer this, but I said, based on what you've seen to date and the number of scans that you've taken, could you give me an estimate of the average time saving from improved aerodynamics over 180 Ks from the scans that you've produced so far? And I thought he was going to say, we can't tell you that, that's just pulling numbers out there. But he said, yes, I can. And he said, basically, for what we've been able to achieve from aerodynamic change, we're saying on average we're improving people's ride times over 180 Ks by about, let's say, I think I'm right, it was about 8 minutes.
Napkin maths, though, he refers
because
to.
Of the napkin maths, he referred to it as napkin maths. But Jack's talking about the niche end of aerodynamics, and I reckon you guys might have an opinion on this, and Guy in particular. You only have to go to one age group race, and we don't even have to consider whether people are wearing decent aerodynamic tri-suits. But most everyone is not well fitted to their bike, and there's massive amount of aerodynamic savings that could be available to them if they just even considered it. Because everyone's either riding right up on their aero bars, or they've got a bad fit, and it sort of makes sense. And I don't know why people wouldn't do this, because it's free speed as such. You've seen enough races, Guy. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, this app, I was thinking this app more for my upper echelon athletes, let's call it that, already are buying like thousands of dollars worth of drag kit to figure out their stuff. I'm like, oh, hey, how about we just save you 30 hours of your life with testing everything, and we can send you into this. But with regards to the average age group race, I'm like, ooh, we got We got bigger fish to fry often. Maybe we should put your seat down or up.
But, I think this starts the conversation. I think because this hasn't been available before, that most middle-of-the-pack age groupers haven't really even considered it. And I'm sure if this goes from strength to strength, I think more people will do it because most people will eventually get a bike fit because, it's really uncomfortable and they've got to get comfortable first. But if most bike fitters had access to this app as well and could say, look, we could run some simulations. Not only are we going to get you more comfortable, but without having to do any more training, if we could take, if the average is at around 8 minutes at the moment, I'm sure there's going to be a lot more for some other people out there. So it'll be fascinating to see whether it gets traction. As I say, it's already on offer in Australia. It's already on offer in New Zealand. But it's just showing us where tech is going at the moment. It's just accelerating at a speed that I can barely keep up with. So I don't know what you guys think about it. And if there's a market for it, like you say, people are happy to spend if they think they can get themselves a little bit of free speed for some of the athletes that you coach, Guy.
But it's actually going to be cost effective as well, was the other thing. And he references that a lot of times. It's a lot cheaper because I think aerodynamics has always been perceived as the last piece of the puzzle of looking like that you're going to try and be like in that 1% category of the age group race. And it's like, it's trying to bring that barrier of entry. And as computers get faster and like the actual computational cost gets lower and he uses AI more and more and more, which is going to bring that cost even further down, it's actually going to be a really cheap plugin for the end user. So it becomes a no-brainer at that point. If you're going to probably spend more on your Zwift subscription than you are on your, Aero app. Yeah.
And it's only because it's the first offering of this and we haven't become familiar with it and it hasn't become mass produced and mass available to everyone. I would suspect that if you hear that your mate down the road who you reckon you're going to beat at the next Ironman just went off and got his aerodynamics sorted, I reckon there's going to be a few other people that are going, well, I'm going to get mine done as well. So it'll be interesting to see where this goes. And it's certainly a different sport than what it was when I was involved, because I never thought about aerodynamics, but I was born slippery. So, what are you going to do?
Dude, you could do an Ironman on a BMX and you'd still be aero as.
Anyway, well, that's us for this week, team. You guys are now obviously in the process of recovering from a triathlon. Jack's running another marathon, just a standalone marathon. And I might just, that's not this coming weekend, it's the weekend after. What do you reckon? Hawke's Bay, Pancake Flat. Oh, you're going to have an opinion. I know that.
He's going to come and do it.
I was just going to ask Jack, do you need someone to pace you through like 35K or something? Because the last 7 might be a stretch. I could probably push on a little bit further than that, but if you need someone to roll around, it should be like a zone 2, maybe into zone 3 workout for me. So not too destroying, I guess.
Just tipping into zone 3. Maybe just with a bit of cardiac drift at the end, but you'd be very much conversational pace for the
and
first
bare feet.
Probably.
No shoes.
No shoes. Go on, team. Let's have a sweepstake. Okay. What do we reckon? Okay. He ran Queenstown. He won Queenstown Marathon 2:25 on a pretty, I would say, rolling, if not slightly hilly course. A lot of it off-road. Hard pack trails. But Hawke's Bay's hard. A fair amount of it's on hard pack.
Most of it's like just stop bank. I don't know what the state of them is. Like, unfortunately, Hawke's Bay has had a lot of flooding. I've had a lot of bad weather over the years. But
The excuses.
I'm actually just saying it's been sad for the region because it's like it used to be really beautiful, and some of it's actually a little bit grim as you run through, and they're like trying to rebuild. It's not the most exciting at points because it's an A to B run.
A to B run. That is true. As long as it goes. Okay, go, Kite. Okay.
I've got some questions here, Jack, before I throw in, because this is important for me to win this.
Yeah.
So how much running have you been doing? Because we know you had that injury with the shoulder because of the whole no swimming thing. How much running have you been doing? Where do you see your fitness in compared to Queenstown when you ran that marathon? Say Queenstown you were quite fit. Are you at that level or are you not? And what's your longest run to date in this build?
Okay, I'll help you with this because he probably won't give you the full rundown. So I sent him a message on Sunday going, shit, you were feeling a bit frisky, weren't you? So he's gone out for a long run, 2:15. He runs with his running buddies that we've referred to as the battlers. They're not really the battlers. Half of them are ex-Olympians and so forth. And he closes with a 10K interval at the end. I would suggest probably just under lactate threshold, but he ran a 32:30 or something like that for the last 10Ks. Just sort of high zone 3 tipping into low zone 4. So the wheels are there. Yeah, the wheels are certainly there. So that was I think that one, 32:30-ish for 10Ks, not a standalone effort. That's just part of the long run and the back end of a long run. So 2:25 in Queenstown. He's in pretty good run form at the moment. We've got one more key session, and it's a flatter course. Don't put any pressure on him.
Oh, that's all I do. I mean, I would say that I could probably pace you still. And now it's given me a little more confidence understanding where you're at fitness-wise. So I feel like actually if you had a little bit of draft and someone to run with for a while, I should probably come down. Jack, you book me a flight. I'll come down, man.
Okay. Just give us the time, guys. Give us the time.
Oh, the people don't want to listen to me talking about it? 2 hours, 19 minutes and 53 seconds.
Oh, 2:19.
Yeah.
Okay. Any takers on that, Kate?
I was actually going to go around a 2:21 mid, 2:21:30.
All right. Okay.
What's yours, Bevan?
Yeah. Depends if he wears his sandals or not to race it. I don't know what his race shoes are going to be. He's probably going to be in Crocs, worrying a little bit about the road surface. I think he's going to go low 220s. I think if he ran under 220, then I'll retire. Not in a good way. It's just that like that's a pretty quick time in anyone's world, and it can be windy down in Hawke's Bay, can't it? Can it be? It's a bit exposed.
The record's only 2:24.
2:20. Oh, you'll go under that.
That's my neighbour, and he went to the Olympics.
Yeah, you'll go under that. Yeah. You ran Queenstown as a training day, so we've done a fraction more work. So I think in the vicinity of Kate, and it's 2:21 wouldn't be beyond the realms of possibility. Depends who else is down there to try to egg him along a little bit, because if at Queenstown they dropped off a little bit early. Yeah, but the problem is
I wouldn't mind that though, because that's like, I don't want like a butt quivering sprint finish or anything like that. I'd rather...
Okay, well, we'll leave it at that, team. Well done on your races across the weekend. Very, very proud of you, and we'll catch up next week.
Sounds good.
See ya.
See ya.
Bye.